Welcome back to part 3 of the Cragheart Let's Paint series. If you are enjoying this, please make sure to leave a like and comment down below letting me know that these are the type of videos that you would like to see. My future plans is to do at least one of these type of videos per game so that I have a long form as well as plenty of the normal short form tutorials. But I chose Cragheart because I really thought it would be a cool idea to turn him into Korg from Thor Ragnarok, and so far so good. So let's get down to the table and we'll continue this paint. Alright, so last time we ended with him being washed again. I didn't show that on the video, but that's what I did as soon as I cut off the camera. I washed him with the Drakenhof Nightshade. Why is this so bubbly? Well, that's weird. I'm trying to mix it. Alright, that's annoying. But I'm trying to mix it at the same time here. We have Azure with Vallejo model color. This is like a gray blue here. And that is what we are going to start highlighting his skin with. So how do we do that? Well, we're going to take some of this and mix it in with the Prussian blue. I said last time we were going to work so much on his skin, but then after seeing how weird it looked, of course I went back on that. So now it is time to highlight this up. So we're going to see, did I select a color that is too bright? Nope, I think this is a good start here. So what we're going to do is very carefully pick out all of the raised edges. Now the last time when I was doing this, if you watched the last episode, I was going through and then decided, you know what? No, I'm going to paint the entire thing. Well, we're not going to do that this time. It did darken his skin more than I originally wanted it to, but that's okay. We'll just brighten it back up. What you need to do is have thin paint. This is important to have it thin. If you want it to be exact, it needs to be thin. The thick paint will be too hard to get it to come off of your brush. And if it's super hard to come off of your brush, then you're not going to be able to be precise with it. And that's like kind of the main thing that we want is precision. You can see on my brush here, I have a little bit too much. So I'm just going to wipe it off on my nail here, but I'm going to make sure to keep that point. That's what I really want out of this, is this point here. And this is something that I'm willing to take multiple passes on. And after probably one pass, I think I might save it for off camera. I'm still kind of deciding on how exactly I want to film these. I mean, I'm filming them in succession. They're going to come out on separate days because I don't want to bog down anyone's inbox with 45 videos all coming out at the same time, especially on the same subject. What we're trying to do here is really just pick out all of the raised portions. We already have in the deep recesses some nice dark paint because of the wash and because of the dark base color. And then now we're trying to highlight the same way that you would do with any mini. If you've ever painted before, you know this process. This is the same thing. But the only thing that's really changed at all is the fact that I messed it up the first time, and then now we're coming back to fix it all. Now you can see his chest there. Starting to get some real definition with that brighter color in there. You can also see over here, I didn't bring it into focus. I didn't put too much in there. You can see on the left hand side, the blue here is the original Prussian blue. That is the mixture there. So I didn't go too far. I don't want to be jumping from a 1 to a 10 and then to a 100, like I don't want to go 10 times each pass. I want to go like a 1 to a 3, and then a 3 to a 5, and then 5 to a 7, and 7 to 10. If we're saying that, like 10 is where I eventually want to end up on a magical color scale here. So all these parts you have to be really precise. That's sort of the hard part here, and that's also if you're a beginner, if you are watching this and you're someone who has only tried painting a couple times and you're just learning and you're going, how are you so precise? How are you able to only hit the little spots that you want to? But that comes with time. I watched maybe 50 videos trying to figure that exact thing out. And all I learned is that practice is what lets me know how hard I want to push this brush onto the miniature. And that's the only thing that helps me is practice. And I still mess it up. I mess it up tons of times. But you always keep the paint that you're using near you. Whether you mix or you like to use all new colors each time, or whatever it is that you like to do when you're painting, that's not the issue. The issue is keep those paints around you, and that way anytime you mess something up, you can real quickly grab it and just throw that base coat back on and do another pass. If I were to mess up right now, which there's a good chance that I will. I'm not perfect at all. But if I do, I'll just go back to my base coat, which is right here. And if I run out of base coat or it dries up, I've got it right here. And I've got more of the wash right there. Everything is ready for me if I need to redo anything. So do not be afraid to start over. Now, I'm not talking about stripping the model completely and redoing it. That's too much. If you mess up one little area, first off, if you're painting for like a competition, you're not watching me, unless you're watching me for entertainment, which then, thank you. But you should probably be teaching me how to paint. If you're watching me, then you're either at my level or you're, just starting out, which is super awesome, and I'm glad to have you here. But the point is that do not strip your model. There's no reason to strip it for one small area, because the chances are you're going to mess it up again when you go through your second pass. And then you're going to have to strip it again. You're never going to get a model done. I think the number one fear that I have in painting is that I fear not being perfect. And so a lot of times I don't want to start on my favorite models because I'm worried that I'm going to mess them up beyond repair. Which is never the case. You can always, always, always strip the paint and start again. So there's really no reason to have that fear. But that fear still does live there. Like in The Lion King, it lives in you. Right? So if you have that fear, don't worry, you're not alone. Probably most of us have that. That's why I still haven't painted Harry Potter from the Harry Potter miniatures game. I haven't painted him because he's like the star of the show, right? It's the Harry Potter miniatures game. So I've painted like a whole bunch of ones that aren't important. Painted Cedric Diggory, and he came out great. He came out excellent. If Harry looks anything like Cedric, it's going to be awesome. But I'm so worried that I'm going to mess up him, Ron, and Hermione that I have not worked on Harry, Ron, or Hermione at all. So, got the legs done with the first pass of the highlight. Got this side of the face done, so I need to do his back and this arm over here. And so you can see there's not, it catches the light, and when it catches the light, you can see how much of a highlight there actually is. But really, it's not that different in color, and that's okay. I'm going to make 5 or 6 passes on this. I'm not going to do it on camera, because that will take forever. And like I said, I want to keep these videos to just about 20 minutes in length. Some might be a little longer, some might be a little shorter, but I definitely don't want it to be over 30, and I don't want it to be under 15. So I'm saying I think 15 to 30 for every single one, with 20 being the average, will be good. But if I paint the entire model live, like literally everything, including like the wait times, or like the parts where I'm trying to figure things out, or where I fix every little bit, each model is going to take 2 to 3 hours, which means that's like 2 weeks of video at least for each model. And I think that that's just inefficient, and I think that most of you are not going to be interested in watching like that level of detail on the painting. I mean, some of you might, like I get really into certain things, and then we'll watch like Let's Players that put up like a 3-hour video. Sometimes I'll do that, but it doesn't usually last. After I've done it a couple times, I'm like, oh, okay, I've had enough of that, because it feels like you're watching a movie. And so there's only so many Lord of the Rings you can watch before you're like, I just want to watch some Simpsons or some other really timely reference, Yeah, sometimes you just want some short little tidbits, some little bites of episodes. So I'm just sort of doing like an overbrush on this. I'm probably this is going to need at least one more episode. I think in the next episode, I'll have done a couple more layers, and we'll go over a final layer so that you can see that final highlight and about how bright I get. But there is the first pass of highlight. Now you can see some pretty good definition on him just from that one. It really starts to bring out the definition when you highlight like that. All right. So now we need to work on his belt section there, and we want some Mechanicus Standard Gray. And I took all of my Citadel paints and put them into dropper bottles to make it easier. A Mechanicus Standard Gray. It's going to be for his belt, because I think what I'm going to do is make his belt like traditional looking stone. So it's sort of gray sandstone. This is going to be fast because this is the very first pass of turning it into stone. We're going to leave the like the crevices there in black. So they will stay in black. The Mechanicus since it's a base tone as well, it covers the black very easily and covers the brown that had gotten onto these little, I don't know what these are, but these little side pieces of his belt buckle, I guess. So I want these to be sort of like he's wearing kind of a stone belt buckle. Do that on the front and the back here. And normally with stone, the easiest way to do stone or to make something look like stone is through dry brushing. But funny enough, we have a whole stone man that we're painting. Now we're making a stone belt. And I can't use dry brushing on any of it because of the order I decided to paint it in. So if I would have done either of these things first, now which I did do the skin first, but I did the stupid wash thing first and then started on the other base colors, and here we are. But there we go. Nice and easy. That's about it for that. Well, not, overall. Still got a lot more to do on that. Let's see, what should we work on next? Well, actually, there is something that I noticed that I did not do, and that is with the khaki from the last episode. So, in the last episode, I took the khaki and painted the wristbands. I should have painted his belt as well. So this is kind of the opposite way of the way you want to paint it. Right now I'm holding him upside down, or I'm holding him like right side up. You probably want to paint him upside down, because you want to get to the top areas of the belt, not the bottom. It's hard to see. Sorry, the camera fell over, so had to cut there and keep going. But yeah, we're gonna that one a little bit thicker just to give it some difference and make it look like. Now we are gonna do a couple more colors, of course. It's not done with just this. But see, we want to get this going as early as possible here. And any touch-ups you need to do. Because, as you can see, with it right here, we now have to go back into our brown and put some more brown on here. Then we're also going to want to put some brown over here because it got a little bit too thick. There we go. There we are. That looks pretty good. All right. So while all those things are drying, we are going to take some ivory from Model Color. We're doing all Vallejo except for the couple Citadel things here, but mostly Vallejo. I do like Vallejo, but we're going to take ivory, and that's what we're going to do his teeth with. And the way you want to do this is just drag right across, and then on his top teeth you're going to paint down. Don't want to give him buck teeth. Got to get all of them in there. Got about 4 of them, it looks like. Just like that. And then you can, I'll come back and we'll clean that up. And then we're also going to get his eyes. And this is the thing. Like, right there, I touched his eye and nothing came off. If that happens, don't force it. Go back, get a little bit more water on your brush, put a little bit more paint on the tip, and then try it again. What should happen is as soon as you touch to the eye, the paint should go on. If it doesn't, your paint's too thick, and you're going to mess up the eye. There you go. So I didn't talk for a second because I was holding my breath, trying to make this not be broken. So here I'm going back into my blue base tone. You got way too high up there on the teeth. So we're going to come all the way back down there with them. And then his eyes look pretty good, except for on this side, it's a little bit bigger than I want it to be. And this one stretches a little further down. And so before I've gotten too much with the highlights, you see now I've got his eyes ready to go. Perfect. Okay. See, anything else quickly that we can do? Yeah, so we're going to take ivory and we're going to start working in these highlights for the orange. So I had gotten to pretty much the pure orange. Gotten pretty much to pure orange. So now I'm going to highlight the orange up. What we do that is add a little bit of the ivory to the orange. We're going to keep this almost exclusively at the top here. Just like this. You can see there. We'll do a couple more passes of that. I'll do that off camera as well. And then we'll grab some of the ivory and mix that in here with the khaki. And that is going to be, and this one you're going to want to put just on the top portions. So around this part here, you don't want to put it down underneath here of his wraps. And if any of it gets too thick, don't worry. It's okay. You can come back in with some dark brown and some khaki and reline it up. And the same exact thing, you'll just pop those on there and highlight those up as well. And then you don't want to put too much on this one, but you can put a little bit on the front and back khaki portions here as well. Alright, so in the next episode, we will finish highlighting the skin. We will work on the leather. We'll work on the stone. And maybe do the metallics.
New outro, I know. If you want to watch more in this series, click right here. If you would like to watch another video in a completely different series, click right here. And if you'd like an easy way to subscribe, other than clicking down below, even though it's right there and it says subscribe, you can click on this little picture right here. That also works.